If you asked me what one of the most important images in gaming was, my answer might surprise you slightly. It would actually be this one, this beautiful rendition of Sora, the lead character from Kingdom Hearts, standing keyblade in hand, facing the sky with the bright glowing moon of Kingdom Hearts behind him. It's a really intriguing image. It's got so many elements that just shouldn't fit together, shouldn't work well, but it absolutely does. And it's this bizarre combination of moody, atmospheric, dark, ambient, bright, interesting. Why are there Disney characters there? What are Donald and Goofy doing there? Such a weird combination, such a strange juxtaposition. You don't normally see these characters in this light doing these things, but it absolutely is engrossing. It absolutely pulls you in. And this was the box art of the very original Kingdom Hearts game. It depicts a scene that never happens in the game. That moon doesn't appear until the second game, although clearly they were planning ahead. And those characters are never assembled in anything remotely like this fashion. But it sets the tone perfectly. Much of the game is nothing like this. It's such a weird mishmash of different styles of all of those different Disney movies and characters coming together. It's light and jovial and nostalgic. When you get into the deeper underlying themes of Kingdom Hearts, as I've already discussed right when I began this YouTube channel, it breaks your heart with its persistent use of nostalgia. And this was the image that pulled many people in to play that first original fantastic game on the PlayStation 2. And it's why I would put forward the artwork of Kingdom Hearts as being one of the most important series of artworks in video game history. In fact, I would even say this video game series has the best artwork of any video game franchise, bar none. And that comes from a couple of interesting sources. The game director of all the Kingdom Hearts games, the series producer, is a man called Tetsuya Nomura. He's most famous outside of Kingdom Hearts for his work on the Final Fantasy series. He actually entered the franchise in the SNES area, producing enemy sprites and character designs for Final Fantasy 5 and 6, but it was with Final Fantasy 7 and that combination of Cloud, Tifa, Barret, Aerith, Sephiroth that he really hit the mainstream. Tetsuya Nomura would continue to work at Square Enix for the following 2 decades, producing really striking character visuals, and he's got a very definitive design that's instantly recognisable. And Kingdom Hearts is the epitome for what happens when you take a franchise and put an artist in charge of all of it. It's a bit disjointed, it's a little bit chaotic in terms of game design, it's definitely not perfect, but it has such a strong mood and such a strong atmosphere, such a strong way of presenting itself. And I would also pull out here one of the unsung figures of this tale is Emiko Yamamoto. Now, she was a game designer and producer who'd originally come over from Sega. One of her first games which she designed was Castle of Illusion, starring Mickey Mouse, on the Sega Mega Drive or Genesis in America. She did a whole trilogy of Illusion games where she was the coordinator, senior producer, and she went on, left Sega, moved to Disney, and became the senior producer of all of the Kingdom Hearts games up to pretty much just before she left, just before the launch of Kingdom Hearts 3. And her original games on the Sega Mega Drive had fantastic artwork as well. That poster for Castle of Illusion displays this mystery and horror of Mickey Mouse is entering into, or the joy of World of Illusion with the spirit of adventure that they're able to convey in that cover art. Clearly you have a producer here who understands the value in good artistic design in what you're going to produce. And so it doesn't surprise me at all that she would then go on to work very well with Tetsuya Nomura and produce this really influential series. But the fantastic art of Kingdom Hearts doesn't just stop there. It carried on. All of the artwork of every Kingdom Hearts game, no matter what spin-off, main series number, it's had Tetsuya Nomura as the main artist. He's produced the box art for all of the final mixes, all of the spin-offs, all of the ongoing series that have followed on from this original game. And his art style has changed, it's evolved with time. Every time he comes back and revisits one of his old series with the high definition re-releases, there's maybe a little bit of shuffling of the cards. They repackage some old art and put a collage together where this is represented in new ways. But this is still the same moody, atmospheric, really interesting piece of artistic design. The main thing that's changed as time has gone on is the number of incidental characters has exponentially increased. What began as just Sora, Kairi and Riku plus the Disney characters has now, by the time we reach Kingdom Hearts 3, expanded to the point where we have a trio of trios of important lore characters. And this maybe represents the way that the fundamental plot behind the games has become ever more convoluted as time's gone on. But you don't really need need to understand the lore of Kingdom Hearts. What you need to understand is the emotion, what the characters are going through. The plot machinations of these games are chaotic and frenzied, but that's absolutely fine because there's very few points in these games where a character acts without motivation. And that's absolutely key to everything Tetsuya Nomura has been driving at all the way since the series started. And to this day, I can't think of any series that has had consistently better key concept art, key box art, driven by one single individual. There's many great things about the Kingdom Hearts franchise that I'd like to talk about in more detail, but I just had to highlight how fantastic and consistently fantastic the artwork has been from start to finish. And maybe looking at these images that conjure really awkward questions in your mind about what it is that they're doing, what it is they're thinking, you might be bewitched into trying these games out for yourself. And if you do so, I hope that you don't regret it.